Hi, and thank you for joining me on another episode of the Tech Exec podcast, where we triple your impact per engineer. As always, I'm your host, Aviv Ben-Yosef, advisor and consultant to tech execs worldwide. And our subject today is fixing printers. And before I tell you what exactly I'm talking about here, let me remind you that my new book, Capitalizing Your Technology, will be available for pre-order in a couple of weeks. And if you want to get all the details, get a free sample chapter, etc., sign up in the link in the show notes so you get all the news. And today we'll be talking about something that I mentioned in the book, and that is the vast importance of being a real tech executive if you want to give your company the technical edge it deserves. Now, fixing printers, I kept seeing jokes in all sorts of CTO communities online where people would say that as the CTO, they were expected to handle minutiae such as the printer's not working, I can't log in, why is the Wi-Fi down, that sort of stuff. And that in many companies, especially when the founders or a significant portion of the team was not technologically savvy, they simply did not understand the role of a CTO, the role of a tech team, and had everything mangled together. Writing the code, making sure the code keeps on working with time, having my own computer working, they were all related in their minds. Now, the problem is that we sometimes allow ourselves to become these printer fixers. We don't say, hey, this is not really what I do. We feel bad, we want to be helpful, and we just let ourselves be treated in a wrong manner. You might be thinking, come on, Aviv, okay, so I'm just helping someone out in the company. This is a startup, this is not IBM. It's not like I have a different department to send them to. Yeah, I get that, but hear me out. There's a real story I heard from the exact person this happened to, and it's actually mentioned in the book, and that is where a CTO was not treated fully as an executive in the company. And that resulted in the fact that the founders decided to acquire a different startup for its technology without ever even letting their CTO know. He only found out after the papers were signed, which is, as you know, too late, right? And small surprise, the technology was not a great fit. The acquired engineers were pretty much shocked to realize that no one did the proper due diligence. And a few months later, pretty much everyone in the acquired company have left. And the acquiring company was left with a big bill for the acquisition and no technology integrated. And I'm sure you don't want to see that happening in your case, right? And it might sound remote. It might sound like there's no way this is happening here. And okay, but in the vast spectrum, there's a bunch of harmful decisions being made all over the place where you're not privy of because you are not being treated as the executive you are or that you ought to be. And if you want to transcend the printer fixing stage, if you want to be a real executive in your company, you have to start changing your mindset and you have to ensure that the other executives view you as a peer. To do that, here are a few quick action items for you to start doing today. First, you have to have a good rapport with each and every one of the other executives in the company, especially in a small startup. That means that you should be meeting with them one-on-one regularly. Maybe not every week, maybe not even every two, but you should be speaking to them, seeing if you can help them in any way, learning what their challenges are, because, first of all, a good relationship makes you peers. But second, once you find where you are aligned, once you realize what matters for them, you can find the what's in it for me when you're talking to them. So next time you want to push back on something, or maybe you have an idea, it will be easier for you to have these allies on your side. Second, I want you to ensure that you're in each and every one of the crucial meetings going on. So if we're talking about the roadmap, if we're meeting clients from time to time, you need to be there. You need to be there just as any other executive in the company is. If you're thinking to yourself, I'm just the tech person, you're thinking wrong. You're a tech executive. You have the tech part done. What about the executing part? You need to be an executive. Yeah, I just invented the word execing, I know, but you need to do that. Now, if you work on the rapport, if you start attending the right meetings, the last step I'm going to recommend you today is to ensure that you are verbose. You speak up. You know how sometimes there are in meetings those people who you just feel like you never know what their voice sounds like because they never speak? I'm guessing you're not like that, okay? Well, I'm not going to an extreme. But in board meetings, in executive meetings, if you rarely speak up, if you never voice concerns, if you never let people know that you have a different idea, or that you even just as simple as didn't understand something, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing the entire executive team a disservice. So work on your rapport, go to the meetings, and once you're there, start speaking up. And soon enough, you're not just going to be asked to fix the damn printers. That's it for this week. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't yet, do subscribe to my newsletter. It's the best newsletter online for tech executives. It's where you're going to find more details about my upcoming book. And you should also consider signing up for my closed community for tech executives. It's free, by invite only. If you want to get more details, see the link in the show notes. Thank you. Talk soon.